Namaste viewers, and a very warm welcome to yet another episode of the Indian Lawyer Legal Tips. I am Sushila Varma, Chief Consultant at the firm. Today's topic will be of great relevance and interest to several people because we are going to discuss e-commerce. Today, the world has changed from the physical world to the virtual world. All of us have become very dependent on e-commerce platforms to do our shopping. Now let us understand what are the laws that govern e-commerce. First and foremost, I would say it's the Information Technology Act that governs the entire digital world. Over and above that, we have the Contract Act when a contract is made between the buyer and the seller. Apart from that, you have the Consumer Protection Act that sets out the rights of all consumers, whether they are buying it in a physical market or in the digital market. And lastly, you have the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, which is an extremely important act as all e-commerce websites collect a lot of your personal data. This data has to be safeguarded, and as such, the Digital Personal Data Protection Act comes into play. Now let us understand what are the types of unfair trade practices that take place on an e-commerce website. The first obviously would be misleading or false advertisements about the product. The second would be products that are not up to the mark or are spurious or are not as advertised. The third would be the sale of the personal data of the customers. Now coming to another important aspect, that is the importance of the e-commerce rules and who they apply to. The e-commerce rules will apply to all the digital platforms that are doing e-commerce business. These are listed below. Most importantly, these rules will apply to all the sellers who are there on the digital platforms. It does not matter whether they're Indian sellers or foreign sellers, so long as the product is being sold to the Indian consumer in the Indian market, the rules will be applicable. Now let us understand the duties that fall upon an e-commerce website. The first would be a prominent display of their name, their contact address, their phone numbers, and most importantly, their website where one can get details of the e-commerce platform. Another important aspect that all e-commerce websites must bear in mind is that they have to have a redressal mechanism, that is a grievance redressal mechanism, where a buyer can go and approach the concerned redressal officer to sort out the issues that have occurred in the purchase of the goods. E-commerce websites are strictly restricted from making false promises or making mis-sale of their goods and services or giving wrong advertisements that will give a customer false hope about the quality of their goods. E-commerce websites cannot manipulate the prices to the disadvantage of the buyer. It is mandatory that all e-commerce websites must have the terms and conditions laid out in their website so that any consumer who approaches the website knows what are the terms and conditions that he or she is bound by. Now let us see what Indian courts have to say about e-commerce websites that have violated the law. Since Amazon is the largest e-commerce website worldwide, we are bringing to you two cases in which Amazon was made a party. In the first case, which was tried by a state commission of Orissa, in which the title is Supriyo Ranjan Mahapatra versus Amazon Development Center India Private Limited, a law student called Supriyo came across a promotional advertisement on Amazon that said he could buy a laptop for rupees 190 and he would get a discount of 23,309 on the said laptop. He obviously placed an order for the laptop. Subsequently, Amazon sent a letter to say that they were not able to fulfill the promise that they had made. Supriyo went to the Consumer Court in Orissa and challenged Amazon. Amazon pleaded that they were intermediaries and as such they could not be blamed if the company that was giving the promotional offer had backed out. the courts did not agree to Amazon's line of defense. Eventually, the court directed rupees 40,000 as compensation to Suprio and an additional rupees 5,000 by way of costs for litigation. In another case tried by the Delhi High Court, titled as Amazon Seller Services Private Limited versus Central Consumer Protection Authority, a 2022 case, Amazon was penalized rupees 1 lakh for selling cookers on its website which did not have the BIS mark. The court was of the opinion that selling such substandard products cannot go scot-free, and as such Amazon was penalized and had to deposit rupees 1 lakh with the registrar of the Delhi High Court. Amazon was also asked to recall the sale of the 2,265 cookers that it had made. Today, India's e-commerce market is the largest market in the world. Hence, all consumers should be aware of their rights. The government has put in laws and rules that have to be followed by these e-commerce websites, and in the event that they fail to do so, all consumers have a right to go to court and sue such e-commerce portals. Today's video presented by us is extremely important because most of us have shifted from the real and physical market to the virtual market. One must bear in mind that the government has made laws, rules and regulations that have to be strictly followed by e-commerce platforms. In the event that any such platform fails to do so, one has one's rights and one can enforce it. If you have found this video useful, please like, share and subscribe and encourage us to make many more such videos in the interest of the public. Thank you and namaste.